Hi, it's Cheryl. I'm going to talk about Mercury retrograde. This Mercury retrograde has been here since the 5th of January 2016. Happy New Year, everybody. First of all, Mercury retrograde is when the planet Mercury appears to be standing still to the Earth. Since all the planets are rotating at their own speed, sometimes two planets will sort of, go at the same rate of speed, which will make that planet appear still, or sometimes even going backwards when it's usually moving forward. This affects our psyche in many ways. It can cause us to have a little bit more insight into our subconscious, into our psyche. And people who aren't ready to see that are going to have a hard time. But Mercury retrograde is your friend. It's here to show you more about yourself. It's here to deepen the trust and the bonds that you have in your relationships. And if you don't have trust and bonds in your relationships, then maybe something needs to change. That's what Mercury retrograde is here to do. Change isn't a bad thing. Change is the only constant. So Mercury retrograde is not the cause of your suffering. Your negative beliefs are. All Mercury retrograde is trying to get you to do is see that you are believing things about yourself that are not in alignment with yourself. Negative thoughts, feelings, or beliefs that you compulsively hang on to, even though it's not logical to do so. In order to work out that logic, things must be pulled to the surface, and this is what Mercury retrograde is doing. When the planet Mercury is in a face-off with the Earth like this, it pulls on certain archetypal influences in our psyche and causes the unconscious to emerge. Mercury retrograde is said to make it more difficult for us to communicate, when in actuality, Mercury retrograde makes it easier for us to see our hidden or unconscious psyche. We will have telepathy with others much easier. Not only will your soul be talking to yourself louder, but it will also be in communication with others as well. During Mercury retrograde is when you'll see your higher mind's perspective. And that can be a scary thing when you have hidden too much from yourself. If you are open and honest with yourself during Mercury retrograde, then it can allow for better communication with ourselves and in relationships, helping you to get in the zone or in the bubble and really feel the magnitude of your love for one another. But unfortunately, with today's influence from society or culture, we have adopted so many negative beliefs about ourselves in the world that the baggage that we carry is heavy. All of the issues getting in the way of you and your happiness in your relationships will be something that comes to the surface during Mercury retro, and that can make people fight or break up, or on the flip side, if you've broken up recently, you might just get back together. During this time of Mercury retrograde, we have to be honest and open with ourselves. We have to acknowledge what's happening to us. We have to appreciate it and allow it into our being. We have to be in a meditation. We have to let go of the things we're holding on to in order to manifest newer, better things and come to terms with whatever denial we may have been under, to see a new light to the paranoia we might have been hanging on to for no reason, to see why we're justifying our irrational behaviors, to understand why we felt rewarded when we did something that was actually against our soul's true nature, which is love, acceptance, appreciation, and always wanting what's best for everybody. If you're the type of person who has reached a higher state of love and acceptance, then Mercury retrograde will be pleasant for you. With the way our culture trains us to struggle through our everyday responsibilities, we end up overlooking what our soul is really trying to get through to us. It's time to stop living from our heads and more from our hearts. During Mercury retrograde, you'll be using more of your intuition, which is made up of extra senses, astral senses, making us more aware on many levels. This is a wonderful thing if you think about how it can enrich our lives and help us navigate through the material reality from a higher state of consciousness, the unconscious realm of energy, where we should be operating from. It's important that we start learning to rely on our higher mind. The higher mind knows what's best for you. The higher mind can see the forest from the trees and knows where it is you need to end up. But if we rely on our lower mind, the thinking mind, leaving out intuition and having expectations, when we have expectations, we cut off unknown sources, unknown paths and avenues that we could take. Expectations cut off our path of least resistance to our soul's true desire. In order to manifest the abundance our heart truly desires, we should allow for the challenges necessary for that growth in our true self. By overcoming challenges, we learn what we came to learn about life. Challenges are inevitable. Without them, we would never reach our soul's true potential. As we have often heard Bashar say, anxiety is just the same energy of excitement filtered through negative beliefs. So Mercury retrograde doesn't have to be so uncomfortable. If you think about it, even excitement can seem uncomfortable. So you're facing new things are happening to you in your life, you're facing new challenges, some things might have changed, but that doesn't have to be a bad thing. We can be excited about the change. We can be excited about new things happening to us in life, even if what you're missing might be something that you really found value in. If you find yourself moving through a difficult time during this Mercury retrograde, just remember the AAA. Acknowledge it, appreciate it, and allow it. Even if you're not understanding what going through that process that the AAA is doing, it will work on a subconscious level. Even just saying it, acknowledge, appreciate, allow, will help you to get through difficult times, will help you to accept and allow for the new manifestation that your higher mind is trying to bring you. In a partnership, both people have to have beliefs that are in alignment with one another. If one person believes that they cannot manifest abundance, then they will unconsciously project those beliefs onto the other. Or if one partner has a core belief that they are not worthy, then the other person will not be in alignment with that, and it will cause a discord in the relationship. If there is some subconscious competition going on with one of the people in the relationship, then the other one will be projected upon until they are brought down to the other one's level. This is not support. This is not a happy relationship. Only when both people feel loved and supported and nurtured by each other can both people begin to enter into positive manifestation and synchronicity. When a couple becomes enlightened together and they support each other fully, then the true potential of a union can come about. And it can be an amazing thing. Two minds is one. But this is not very common in our society. In fact, it is quite scarce. Mercury retrograde is really here to push you into the depths of your own heart and support and love one another, encouraging each other's spiritual growth and prosperity without thinking about needing to make it about us. When we make things about us, when we take things personally, it's because we have a deep-seated core belief that we are unworthy, and we become defensive, and we project. That belief we hold unconsciously will still control our conscious waking life. We will do things that are illogical. We will do things against common sense. We will reject truth because of paranoia. We will project our negative belief onto another, trying to make them feel unworthy also. Mercury retrograde can be the greatest gift to all because it can be a time to help us face these issues and finally heal from them. So, let's take the challenge to make this Mercury retrograde a good one. Let's learn how to get in touch with our own meditative state, because Mercury retrograde is a really great permission slip to start utilizing mindfulness and meditation, to start using our extra senses. Let all of this become something positive. Also, during the time of Mercury retrograde, if you have good focus, if you're doing it right, the power of manifestation is amplified. If you have a good focus and you know how to use the 15-minute permission slip and then allow it, then you'll see more instant manifestations during this time. But that depends on your beliefs and how you can start to define things positively. So have a happy Mercury retro, everybody. Bye.